Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, Performance Nutrition. In this week's video, we are going to explore my top 3 supplements any athlete should consider taking. We're going to look at protein, caffeine, and creatine. Also, I'll talk about considerations for elite athletes and what could potentially go wrong if you don't get the right support and advice on supplementation. My name's Fonda, a performance dietitian sharing my passion for and knowledge of evidence-based sports nutrition to help you reach peak health and performance. If you are new here, make sure you click that subscribe button and don't forget to turn on your notifications so you don't miss out on any of my weekly videos. I will include links related to this week's video in the description box below, so let's jump into it. Firstly, I'd like to prelude this video by saying that all athletes should view supplements as the sprinkles on the icing on a cake. Confused? Well, think of the cake base as your foundations of nutrition, a well-balanced and varied whole foods diet. Think of the icing as getting the nutrient timing right to maximize your adaptations and performance. So for example, what you might eat and drink in the hours before exercise, during exercise, and after exercise for recovery. And making sure you have these 2 layers right will further enhance the effect that the sprinkles or supplements will have on achieving your goal of performing at your best. So now we have that out the way, let's get into supplement number 1, protein. There are so many protein powders out there on the market, and the 2 that you should focus your efforts on are a straight whey protein isolate and a straight casein protein. Avoid getting caught up in all the hype of mixed protein supplements with fillers and other ingredients such as creatine, as they more often than not don't contain enough of that ingredient to get the therapeutic result. We will touch on creatine a little later in the video, so make sure you stick around. A straightforward whey protein isolate powder can be a practical and convenient option after a training session, particularly if a kitchen is not close by. And ideally, it should be consumed within an hour post-training. So if you do expect to be home and sitting down to your recovery meal more than an hour after you've finished your training session, this could be a solution for you. Whey protein is a fast-release protein, which means that after you ingest it, it gets to your muscle quickly to help speed up that recovery process. And it can also provide another opportunity to get a hit of protein during the day to help you with your goal of gaining muscle or optimizing your muscle function. But if your goal is to gain muscle, it's not all about getting protein in after each session. You also need to consider your daily spread of protein over the day, as well as your energy intake. If you haven't already seen my previous video on protein requirements for athletes, stick around to the end and I'll provide a link to this video for you to check that out. Casein protein is a slow release protein. And when we ingest casein protein, it reaches our stomach, mixes with our stomach acid, and coagulates, which slows down the release into our small intestine for absorption. And this means it takes longer to reach our muscles. For this reason, casein protein is perfect to have before bed when we are not eating or drinking for 7 to 8 hours. And it's something that I do recommend athletes consume before bed to help feed the muscle overnight to maximize muscle gains, function, and also recovery. Protein powders are classified as a Group A sports food under the AIS Sports Supplement Framework. Therefore, I usually have no problem recommending protein to athletes due to the level of research behind them and their safety profile. Now let's talk about caffeine. Caffeine would have to be one of the most researched performance supplements in the sporting and active community. Caffeine is a stimulant, and if you drink coffee, you know the effect it has by keeping you more alert and awake. Traditionally, it was thought that caffeine improved athletic performance by enhancing fat oxidation, so that fat was used as a fuel source to spare muscle glycogen stores. However, current evidence points to caffeine as having a more neurological response, in which it makes exercise feel easier than what it is. And surprisingly, caffeine appears to have a benefit across a wide range of different sports. From endurance and ultra-endurance events like marathons, triathlons, and multi-day cycling or adventure events, to team sports such as football, basketball, rugby, and even individual sports like gymnastics, combat sports, and athletics. During prolonged exercise, when muscle glycogen stores are depleted, caffeine can be a powerful ergogenic aid to help push through strategic time points during a race and surge towards that finish line. And caffeine can also help improve reaction time in combat sports, as well as in sports which require repeated efforts, such as volleyball. Caffeine doses of between 1 to 3 milligrams per kilogram of body weight has been shown to be beneficial in sports from 30 minutes to 1 hour duration. And doses between 3 to 6 milligrams per kilogram of body mass has been suggested for sports of more than 1 hour duration. But what is key with dose protocols for caffeine is that athletes should aim to achieve the lowest dose for the maximal benefit. Because high doses of caffeine can cause shakiness, tremors, gastrointestinal upset, which can actually impair performance. Caffeine takes up to an hour to reach peak blood concentrations. Its effect lasts around 3 to 4 hours, and it has a half-life of 4 to 6 hours. And what this means is you need to work out the right time to take caffeine to maximize your performance and avoid it interrupting your sleep and recovery. Major sources of caffeine include coffee, energy drinks, tablets such as NoDoz, Coca-Cola, gums, and strips. Consult with your performance dietitian to work out the best dose of caffeine for you to consume at the right time and the right source to maximize your results. My third top supplement is creatine. And like caffeine, creatine has also been extensively studied since the early 90s, with research showing the ingestion of creatine monohydrate can increase muscle creatine stores dramatically. So creatine is a compound derived from 3 amino acids, methionine, glycine, and arginine. And it's stored mostly in our skeletal muscle tissue. And it provides a fuel source for the regeneration of ATP during maximal exercise of between 5 and 10 seconds duration. There tends to be a lot of interest in other preparations of creatine, such as creatine ethyl ester, malate, and hydrochloride. However, the safest and most effective creatine is creatine monohydrate. In fact, creatine ethyl ester degrades in low pH environments, so when it hits the stomach acid, it's degraded to creatinine prior to even being absorbed, rendering it useless. And we can also get creatine from animal-based foods such as meat, fish, and eggs. But because dietary sources of creatine match the breakdown rates in our body, it's unlikely we are able to reach the therapeutic doses required for a performance benefit. And there are 2 main protocols for supplementing with creatine monohydrate: a slow load and a rapid load. And you can find out more about these loading protocols by heading to my website's resource section at www.chrisfonda.com.au/resources. And given creatine's main action is to provide the fuel needed to regenerate ATP, it can enhance performance in exercise with repeated bursts of 6 to 30 seconds of maximal effort, followed by adequate recovery periods. This could be sports such as football, volleyball, Australian rules, tennis, or rugby as a few examples. And in terms of the side effects of creatine, some athletes report nausea, gastrointestinal upset, and headaches, but this is uncommon. Other side effects may include a small weight gain of about 1 to 2 kilos, particularly with the rapid loading protocol. So this may not be ideal for athletes competing in weight category sports. And although commonly stated, long-standing evidence suggests that creatine monohydrate in the recommended protocols does not impair kidney function, except in those with pre-existing kidney dysfunction. So chat with your medical professional prior to taking creatine for a thorough examination of your medical history and ongoing monitoring if you do have some concerns. So if you are an elite athlete and you're subjected to regular testing for wider prohibited substances, there are some additional things that you need to think about prior to supplementation. First, you need to seek the advice of your own performance dietitian or other medical practitioner that specializes in sport. A performance dietitian can make sure you get the right foods and fluids at the right times to help you build a solid cake base and prevent cracking in the icing. They can also help you to implement your supplements or your sprinkles into your training and competition schedule to maximize your training and performance. I see so many athletes taking a supplement just for the sake of it, and often they take it at the wrong times and it's ineffective. I also see athletes take a supplement and it actually impairs their performance. So it's always best to consult a performance dietitian before supplementing. And secondly, you want to make sure that the supplement you are considering taking has been third-party batch tested. So that is, it's been independently analysed against wider prohibited substances to lower your risk of returning a positive result. Companies such as Inform Sport, Huster, and NSF analyze sports supplements for banned substances and provide certification, so you can be confident that products with these logos on it are low risk. But no company can 100% guarantee a sports supplement will not return a positive result. And it is the sole discretion of the athlete to decide whether or not they want to take a sports supplement, and they 100% accept that risk. Recent examples from my home city of Perth in Western Australia have shown what can go horribly wrong if you don't seek professional advice before taking a supplement. One case required a liver transplant, and another young woman unfortunately passed away due to an underlying metabolic disorder related to protein metabolism. I can't strongly suggest enough that everyone should consult with your own performance dietitian or medical professional before taking a supplement for ongoing monitoring, optimal dose protocols, and strategic timing to make sure you get the most benefit at the lowest risk. So there you have it, my top 3 supplements all athletes should consider taking, and some special considerations for those elite athletes that are subjected to regular testing for wider prohibited substances. If you've liked what you've heard so far, give this video a thumbs up, share this video, add your comments below on what supplements you use to help improve your performance. I'd really like to know. But that's it from me for now. I look forward to seeing you again in the next video. Fonda out.